Taste Life is a Christian eating disorder charity that helps people of all faiths or none recover from eating disorders, because we firmly believe that full recovery from eating disorders is possible, which goes against a lot of common belief that people have around eating disorders, that actually you're stuck with them forever and it's just something you've got to learn to live with. Whereas we believe and we help people take baby steps towards full recovery, or the form of recovery that they want to aim for.
Now, I'm guessing, this covers, I suppose, quite a wide spectrum, doesn't it, Maisie? There are all sorts of different types of eating disorders out there. And obviously you will take care, I guess, of all of those. But what are some of those types?
Okay, so you have the ones that are most commonly talked about. When people think of eating disorders, they probably most commonly think of anorexia nervosa. So that is kind of the criteria for that. You're looking at restricted intake of food, low body weight, fear of gaining weight, often comes with body dysmorphia, which means that when you look at yourself in the mirror, you don't see yourself the way that you actually are. You see yourself as much bigger. But then there's also ones like bulimia nervosa, which is around binging and purging, sometimes using laxatives, sometimes using vomiting. And this can have some serious side effects as well to your physical as well as your mental health. And then you move on to things like binge eating disorder, which is eating in almost a way that is out of your control. And common signs of it are people who are overweight. They can often have heart problems and bowel problems. So those are the three main groups of people that we help. But then you go into your more atypical eating disorders as well. And these are the ones people probably don't hear about very often. So there's one called OSFED, which means other specified feeding and eating disorder. So that is kind of a combination of lots of different symptoms from lots of different eating disorders. So they can't put you in a box of one. So instead, it kind of covers a wider range. There's diabulimia, which is people with type 1 diabetes restricting insulin to lose weight. There's body dysmorphic disorder. There's ARFID, which is avoidant restrictive food intake disorder, which leads to dramatic weight loss, but it's all to do with kind of the limited range of foods that someone is eating. And it's obsessive, picky eating to the point of weight loss, but there's no body image disturbance, if that makes sense. And then another common one that is emerging at the moment is orthorexia, which is an obsession with food, cleanliness, and purity. So there is a whole range of eating disorders out there, but Taste Life seeks to help people of all eating disorders, whether they've been diagnosed or they haven't been diagnosed, and it's just a worry or a thought that they have this. We're there to help.
Now, I mean, you talked there about, quite a number. I didn't realize there was as many as that, which is quite extraordinary, isn't it, really? But you also talk about the diagnosis side of things too. I mean, obviously a lot of us perhaps, maybe have one of those disorders that you've alluded to there, but don't actually necessarily know that we have it. I guess it's really quite important that we do get diagnosis, I guess. And how do we go about that generally?
Yeah, so we say at Taste Life, going to the GP is always step one. That is always step one to getting your diagnosis. But to put this in perspective of why we help people, whether they have a diagnosis or not, even though diagnosis is super important, is if you look at the statistics of people with eating disorders, you're looking at around an estimated 1.6 people in the UK, 1.6 million people in the UK, who have a diagnosed eating disorder. So those are the people that have gone through the process of going to the doctor, getting referred to an eating disorder specialist, and going through a treatment plan, or being advised to go through a treatment plan. On top of that, in medical circles, there's this thing called the rule of thirds. So you're looking at another 1.6 million people, as an estimate, that never get diagnosed, but do realise there is a problem with their eating, and they're their thought patterns around food and control. And then the final third is another 1.6 million who are in denial and who never admit that they have a problem in the first place. Even though eating disorders are a highly destructive mental health condition, they have the capacity to put blinkers on you.
Yeah.
So you can't see that you're actually in quite a lot of danger, and it's something that you really need to get out of. So with all of that in mind, we think diagnosis is really important. Going to the GP, always the first step. But it's not a requirement to accessing Taste Life's help. So we'll often help people who are in the midst of NHS treatment, people who know they have a problem but haven't gone to the NHS, and some people who are in complete denial as well.
Yeah.
So that's where we sit on that.
I've just done the maths on that, Maisie, in my head, and that's near on 5 million people across the UK there that we've accounted for. That by adding up those numbers that you've said, that's quite a big proportion of the number of people that we've got in the UK. It's quite astounding, isn't it? But also, and whether they're diagnosed or not. So Taste Life is there for all, no matter what. What do Taste Life do? What can you do then? And how can you help these 5 people or more, 5 million people or more, 5 million people or more?
So yeah, we're saying it's between about as an overall estimate from recent research, it's between 4 and 5 million people in the UK, but as you said, probably more. So what Taste Life actually offer is an 8-week community course, which sounds extremely vague, so I will explain what that is. It's a course for anyone with diagnosed eating disorder, undiagnosed eating disorder, or their carer or friends as well. So it's actually a very unique community course in that carers and sufferers are in the same environment together, without any judgment, without any forceful kind of pressure to do certain things at a certain time. It's all very much led by the people in the room, but the course allows people to learn about their eating disorders more through talk content. It gives space for discussion and activities to have self-reflection, and to build greater relationships as a group. Because that sense of community when it comes to eating disorders seek to isolate you and make you feel really lonely. So actually the Taste Life community course is an opportunity for sufferers and carers alike to come together and feel secure in that space where everything else feels really rocky. So in terms of what the course actually is, it's OCN London accredited. It's an 8-week community course. It's 9 weeks if you choose to do it online, because there are online and in-person options. And it's led by trained Taste Life leaders. So we have a training program, which is a full weekend of training for our leaders, all about how to lead Taste Life courses safely and effectively, to get the best results. And we definitely get results.
Sure. It's very much about, it is so much about awareness, isn't it, really? Because, I think some people, if they don't know how to cope with something like this, or they don't know somebody perhaps that, maybe someone, or indeed everyone knows somebody that has some kind of an eating disorder, but they just don't necessarily recognize it. It's so important, isn't it, to get the message out there, I suppose. And that's one of the things that you're right behind and supportive of.
Oh, absolutely. And we think, with throwing more statistics out there, it's a common problem in adolescents as well. So actually, in terms of getting the message out there, the reason we're so keen on things like social media usage, and talking about eating disorders through our TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook platforms, is because young people are the best people to be getting the word out there that full recovery is possible. So we also have a whole youth track program, which I mentioned is something that I work on as well, which is great. It's a program that is a preventative resource. for young people between the ages of 11 and 14, but it has been used kind of a little bit either way of those age barriers as well. And it's to be used in schools as an intervention resource or in a classroom, but can also be used. What's very unique about our resource is that there is a faith supplement, which means that we give leaders, youth leaders, an opportunity to integrate what does God say about eating disorders? What does God say about me and my relationship with my body, with food and the world around me? But that supplement is completely optional. So it can be used as a secular resource or a faith-based resource. So we're very passionate about working particularly with young people as well as with adults through our community course, because actually they're the ones that are spreading the word of there's another way to live that doesn't involve me just living in the depths of my eating disorder and being really miserable.
Mm. We'll come back to the course in just a minute and let people know exactly where they need to go in just a sec. So remind me if I forget. But I was going to ask you, you know, someone's listening to this, Maise, and they are perhaps, you know, wised up to the fact that they have a problem. They're aware of it. They're aware that they have an issue. They're losing weight dramatically, although maybe they don't see it, but people are telling them that. What would you say to them?
Oh, there's so many things I'd want to say to them. But I think the key thing from me, from someone who has been there, done that, got the t-shirt, there is a better way to live. There is a better way to live than in the midst of an eating disorder, because eating disorders seek to steal and destroy. They seek to bring about misery. And the really scary thing is that your eating disorder might be telling you that it's your friend, that it's the thing you can trust, and that it's the only one you can trust even. But your eating disorder is lying to you. And that is something I had to come to terms with. And that is really, really hard. But as soon as you have that realization, you start to realize that the world is so much bigger than your eating disorder tells you it is. And there is so much joy available for the taking that is on offer when you choose to do recovery. And it is a choice, but honestly, best decision I ever made. And I really encourage you to do it too.
And on that note, Maise, you know, where can people go? Where can they get more information about the course and about just some help, really?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a couple of ways to get involved and to help with the Taste Life mission. So we are looking for trained leaders. We're looking for people that are training to be leaders. So please go to our website and contact us at admin@tastelifeuk.org. But also, if you are someone suffering from an eating disorder, go to our website and sign up to our newsletter and sign up for a community course, because there'll be one in your local area, or there'll be one online that you can access as well. And equally, we have Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, which is at Taste Life UK. So follow us for more content, for top tips, for general mental health top tips, as well as learning more about eating disorders. But the main thing you can do is spread the word of Taste Life, because the work we're doing is so important. So check us out at www.tastelifeuk.org for any information. But if you're a sufferer or a carer, click on that button that says Get Help Now, because we really want to help you.